So now we move to the strategies the teachers can use if they want to be introduced into reflective practice. The first thing teachers should learn is to systematize the reflection that usually all teachers do when they are teaching. So all teachers reflect. The difference is between immediate reflection, so something that I always do in the classroom because I observe what's happening in the classroom, and so I have to react. It's a kind of immediate reflection, and I have to distinguish between this kind of immediate reflection and a reflection that is systematized. And to systematize a reflection means that I have to follow a kind of reflective cycle, which begins with a kind of self-questioning, with self-observation, self-questioning, with the analysis of the own experiences in the classroom. Later on, once you have become aware of your preconceptions related to that, to those experiences, to contrast, to make a kind of compare what you think with theoretical knowledge, and afterwards to become aware what are the things you would like to reshape, to describe, to reframe from your very beginning. So this is a kind of wave with three main phases. Again, self-questioning, self-analysis, contrast, and redescription or reshaping, and it's important to follow. This is the first important strategy. So, related to the different phases, it's also important that teachers know the kind of instruments they can use for each phase. And there are now, and we are very lucky about this, many publications that focalize on these kinds of instruments. These are instruments a teacher can use in a self-regulated way, autonomously, and they help in the thinking process in each different phase, because you think in another way and you reflect in another way. And there is a kind of big instrument, which is the portfolio, e-portfolio or not portfolio, which is a kind of umbrella where you can introduce all the other instruments, the results of the reflection thanks to the instruments you have used. And the portfolio is an important instrument, it's a useful one, because you have a kind of evidence of the whole process. You have the beginning, you have the process itself, and you have the final stage. So the portfolio helps in a kind of contrast, in a time contrast. So you compare what you thought and did at the beginning with the process at the end, with the end stage, what you are thinking now and you are doing now in the classroom. And through this kind of comparison, of contrast, you can get a kind of photography, of radiography of your own development. One thing I would like to outline regarding the portfolio is that the portfolio is one instrument, a very useful one, but in order to reflect in a systematized way, it's important that we learn as teachers to deal with other instruments which are much more specific, related to the different phases of our reflective cycle.